Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Sports Card Advantage podcast. It is February 24th, 2022, and it is 9:21 p.m. We are recording episode 48, and calling you my wingman has a whole nother meaning tonight. So joining us, as always, Mr. Bunk.
What's up, man? You didn't ask, but I'm doing great.
Yeah, I forgot. I had to change it up, keep you on your toes a little bit, so that
I'm paying attention. How you doing?
Not the same answer. Well, it is what it is, as they say. Obviously, we got some pretty chaotic shit going on in the world right now, and we're gonna talk about it. Normally, as a podcast, we have made the rule before we even started this 48 episodes ago, no politics, no religion. But, with everything that's going on in the world, we're going to talk about it. We're not going to talk about it from a political standpoint. We are going to talk about what's going on in the world as far as, Russia invading the Ukraine and how that may impact the hobby. It's not as far of a stretch as you might think. Sports cards are considered an alternative asset class. So whenever there is times of war, in traditionally in history, alternative asset classes and even traditional asset classes like the stock market have a tendency to give way for safe haven investments a la gold. So that definitely could have an impact on your sports cards. So we're gonna go to our political correspondent, Mr. Bunk.
Oh, no, you don't want to hear that take. So you're saying buy gold wanders? Is that what you're saying?
No, that isn't the safe haven gold market.
They're selling for more than gold itself.
That I am referring to. So I guess I'll as the finance guy kick us off here and take us through the
I got it
first.
Buy gas, not cards.
Yeah,
that's my stand right now.
Yeah, so I mean that in its simplistic form, basically,
I'm gonna get that hashtag trending.
Bunk just basically summed it up. Is that gas? Basically, 50 to 60% higher overnight. I know I went to fill up this morning in North Carolina, and it was $3.50. I know you went to fill up this morning in Pennsylvania, and it was $3.75. They're talking about $6 a gallon gas in California. So this all impacts people's livelihoods. We were already going through inflation. Markets were already going down. Over the last 48 hours, we've seen, a sell-off of a bit, and then it stabilized. So it's honestly going to depend on how long this goes. If this thing drags out and the U.S. gets involved and there's more fear and the markets continue to tank and, inflation continues to go up and the price of gas continues to go up, people are going to be selling cards. They're going to need to pick up money somewhere, and that's going to be the first, one of the first things to go. If they need to buy gas, they need to buy food, they need to pay rent, they need to pay utilities. You got that stuff sitting on the shelf. That's going to go before the family heirloom jewelry or whatever else that may need to go. So how does that impact you and the hobby? For those that are in that lower tier of cards, I'm not talking about your $20 and $30 and $50,000 cards. I mean, I don't know if those will be impacted as much, but some of the lower
people with money are going to still spend their money.
Yeah, people with money are still going to spend their money, but the lower tier stuff is potentially going to be the markets. There's going to be stuff on the market, and there you may be able to find some deals. So if you're in a position of being financially well off in this situation and not really being affected by inflation or high gas prices or high food prices or whatever may come our way in the coming weeks or months. There's going to be stuff out there that's going to be available, and you can potentially get it for below current comps or previous comps, and find some deals. So
Right.
if
So
go
if
ahead.
what you say is true, on some of the lower end stuff, the market's going to get diluted, supply increases, and we know what happens when supply increases.
Yeah,
But
and
prices are going to come down, and you're doing your homework and you're watching. There'll be definitely deals to be had.
yeah, I mean we've seen it a bit in the crypto space as an alternative asset class. You're seeing it with some of your NFT projects. Some of those floor prices are lowering, and then also with crypto, Ethereum tanked a bit and then rebounded, but we're down 20% in the last week or so. It was hovering 3,000, 3,200. We hit as low as 23 and change last night when all this started. It rebounded a bit back up to 2,600, but we'll see how long this is going to go. And I think that's really a matter of, is this just going to be a 5-day skirmish, or is this going to drag out for 5 weeks? So, and there's a whole lot of other political dominoes and global dominoes that come into play here. So it's definitely something to keep an eye on. And I hate to say it, but we're a sports card podcast. So, the worse this gets, the better the deals are going to be. And as I said, I hate to say it, but we're looking at it from a hobby perspective and not from a human interest perspective, I guess you could say.
Right.
You know, I,
Yeah, and then as it is, you got box prices are out of control, and that you can't even justify some of the singles you're pulling out of it. So if there's going to be more and more sellers and throwing all this stuff up there, you're going to get even a bigger discrepancy between what you're pulling out of product and what the price point was.
yeah, I mean, unfortunately, you have supply chain issues, which causes the box prices to be insane, and then but then we're in the middle of inflation and wartime, so that causes other issues. So it's definitely going to cause a mismatch, and it's going to be interesting to see where that takes us, as far as we have some major releases coming out here in the next few months, for football and basketball. I don't
Yeah,
know.
overdue ones too.
Yeah, so it's going to be really interesting, for us to look at where the box prices go, where the single prices go, especially if this drags on a bit, and we have global events that are impacting our economy in a major way.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, but all we can do is continue to watch and dial up the things you're interested in and see where they're going.
Yeah, and for those of you that do need cash, that's the other thing to keep in mind. Finding marketplaces, whether or not it's eBay or My Slabs, who also just started taking raw cards. Finding the places to get the most for your money, and eBay obviously is going to take 12%, but they're the largest marketplace. So if you need to sell something quick, for cash, to for whatever it is, and you need to pay bills, I still think eBay is going to be the best. Like, if you really need cash fast and you have to get it in 5 to 7 days or whatever it's going to be as your auction, I still think eBay is going to be your best option.
Yeah, I mean, eyeballs are eyeballs.
Yeah.
There's no way around it. I know everyone cries about the fees, and they'll never give their money to eBay, but I've seen some large cards pulled in the last week that people are trying to hawk on privately, and every day that goes by that they don't list it on eBay, they're losing money. In
Yeah,
my personal opinion.
yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing. If you need fast cash, um, you know, like My Slabs and some of these other private stuff, you can put it up for a price, but somebody's got to pay it. And if somebody's not willing to pay it, then it's not going to sell, and you're still holding it and you don't have the money. So, and we have zero financial interest in eBay. eBay pays us no money. We are not sponsored by or any of that other shit. It's just what we found to pay out the best. Usually, you can make up that extra 10 or 11% that you would get elsewhere if you're gonna drop it on an auction somewhere. So you brought up single prices. I guess that'll segue us right into your boy, Mr. Wander Franco. I planned on covering him at the end, but you segued us so
Oh,
professionally into
yeah,
that
without even knowing it.
without even knowing it. You're so good at this game now after 48 episodes that you just
Uh,
subconsciously drop him in there.
well, let me guess. You found the person that spent 2,000 on the first PSA 10 flagship Wander rookie card.
I did not, but
You are we calling them?
that's I wish, but I mean that this is your segment. This is baseball, buddy. So you got to walk us through what we're talking about as far as this card and some of the other stuff that's floating around out there.
I don't know. 2,000. We already talked about how there's probably going to be there's just an infinite supply of Wander rookie cards out of this product. So now to be fair, I
Well,
don't know how many
well,
are going to get.
first, why don't we tell people what which card we're specifically talking about?
Yeah, his 2022 tops, his base card. The first PSA 10 hit eBay last week and it finished at $2,075. There's another one, and I checked the pop report. There is in fact a pop of two, and there's another one at auction right now
Yeah, it's
that has to get a significant push to reach the 2K. I'm gonna guess it goes decently under, personally.
well, it's at 335 right now with basically 2 days to go.
Yeah, I mean, there's two ways of looking at this. I mean, people just jumping on the hype train, I guess, or they just don't know any better. I can't believe an informed buyer would have bought that card for
Well, I
2K.
mean, how many times have we had this discussion? When new products come out
Well,
and,
that too, yeah, yeah.
people
But
overpay and just wait because the price is going to come down. I mean, this is a broken record for us.
but looking and trying to play devil's advocate here, how many, despite the increase in what we believe is a huge print run, uh, now if they're going to sell for 2K, I'm going to answer my own question here, but maybe not. Maybe the pops won't be as high. Maybe not as many of these are going to get sent for grading, uh, because it's his base card. I don't know.
Well, I'll segue
Is
us.
there going to be five figure Wander PSA 10
Yeah,
out of this product?
probably.
You think so? All right. Well, then there you
So
go. There's your answer.
as a
Well, then
sneak
2K was an awful buy.
as a sneak peek to our next segment, we're going to be talking about PSA and their expansion. So with what they're hoping to expand into and, get more grading done and lower prices. So if prices come back down to $25 a card, people are going to be submitting these by the dozen. I mean, you know, it's just you can get them easily, boxes, packs, you know, buying them raw. I mean, what are they going for raw now?
Last week they were $20. I don't know if they're any higher or lower now. But
So,
then we're gonna end up in the same situation we have with the 2018 Acuñas and Sotos that don't carry the price tag you think they should simply because there's 10K plus of them.
well, you're saying that like it's not supposed to happen. I mean, that's
No,
just
no,
the
no. Yeah,
that's
yeah,
just
no.
the
But you
situation.
just think of it. If you're just average looking up a card, you just think, oh wow, rookie card, best hitter in baseball, maybe more than $80.
Yeah, I mean,
You know?
so I mean, the PSA hiatus caused a pause, but as soon as the prices come all the way back down and it's open season submission again, you're literally going to be seeing people grab stacks of 2020 cards that have low pops and 2021 cards that have low pops, and now any of the 2022 stuff that comes out. I mean,
Yeah,
shit, at $25, I'll take dart throws all day that I slip one past the goalie and pick up a 10 on something that I think could be a 9 for $25, we'll take those risks.
well, yeah, if they're still selling for what that first one sold for, but
Well,
there's no way the second one's gonna sell for that much.
no, no. I mean, I'm just talking about in general. I mean,
Yeah,
once the prices come down, you're going to see the floodgates open
yeah, it'll
again,
be
and
paper based everywhere. Great,
yeah, people are
100%.
going to be just throwing stuff over the fence and hoping for good grades. I mean, that's the way it used to be. You used to watch these guys with these grading reveal videos, and they'd have a stack, the size of a
Oh, yeah.
freaking, 2 feet high, and it's like, oh, I graded this base mosaic, whatever the fuck, of some guy you never heard of because it cost $8,
Yeah.
and we're gonna get back there if PSA lowers their prices back down to $10. I'm honestly hoping, like, I'd be happy with them keeping it at 50, just for the sake of maintaining a little bit of control over the amount of just pure grading volume that goes on.
Well, keeping it at 50 should ensure, especially with their queue system right now, that they don't get overran and they can keep delays to a minimum or none.
Yeah. So
But seriously, we can't have a year backlog because 20,000 Wander base tops cards are sitting at PSA.
well, I mean,
I mean, we can't do it. I mean, you can, but
eh,
I mean,
with him being basically the hottest thing in baseball right now, people are going to submit everything they can get their hands on if the price comes down. It just depends on when that's going to be and how long the turnaround is going to be. But and that's my fear is if they go to a $25 price point, you might as well. I mean, it's going to open the floodgates again, and it's going to be crazy.
yeah.
But
I wish we knew the outcome of this. It's killing me to know what the second Wander 10 is going to go for.
well,
PSA, anyways. There's a
speak
bunch of Fugazi companies up there that
speaking of, exactly, we're going to go through some of that because in doing the research for this Wander card.
I'm just
uh
lobbing softballs at you, dude.
yeah, I know, you're just fucking Shaq and Kobe out here, just throwing alley oops. So we took in the research process for this, we happened to find some other just grading card companies never heard of, and it's like, where the and they're wanders. So we'll start with a PPG, which is Parish Products Grading, or something along those lines. They literally put a picture of the player in the slab, but it's like the non-tops version, so it's not in an identifiable uniform. So obviously they don't have licenses to do anything. That PPG 10 went for $55. We have a GMG that went for less than $99, just best offer accepted.
There's a GMA or two.
There's multiple GMA 10s. Let's see what we have for currently up for auction right now.
What does GMA charge for the quick turnaround?
I don't know. So we also have first graded. So it's like first grade, but with a D on the end of it. So first graded is another one. You can buy that now for $70. A first graded 10. Um, uh, so obviously we don't recommend buying any. I mean, if you want to take a shot on some of these, PGX is another one. Here we go. PGX 10, 18 bids, $31. You want to take a shot on some of these to cross them over, by all means, but don't buy any of this stuff if you're planning on holding it long term. These grading companies will not be around. These companies will be gone before HGA is. We'll just put it that way.
Dude, the highest price on the GMA website for a 20-day turnaround. I don't even think the product. Well, when did the product release? Not even 20 days ago. Like, how are there GMA 10s already? Unless they were like vendor or something or others, or
Yeah, it could be friends of the program type of thing.
yeah. Oh, for $20, I mean, then it makes sense to grade it. But yeah, I just checked for you. Wander base cards are down to $10 to $12 a piece.
Yeah,
So
and
the fact that a 10 selling for $2,000 is just
it,
bad.
if you put a $25 grading price tag on it, you are going to see people submitting them by the 100 at a time.
Oh, they're all gonna go.
Yeah.
They're all gonna go because it's gonna take a while for that card to come down. And when baseball gets fired up again, that'll be some renewed interest there. So there'll be some staying power on these.
Yeah.
Not for
So
long.
as we've said probably half a dozen times at minimum on this, any new products, any new rookies, any of this stuff, the hype's always going to be there. It will come down. Literally, it will come down. It doesn't matter who it is. the price is not going to start up and stay up for the duration of the player's rookie year or the product. I mean, it'll come down. So just trust in that. Don't go out and overspend. I mean, spending $2,000 on a card that you can buy raw for $10 is crazy. Spending $1,000 on a card that you can buy raw for $10 is crazy, especially since there's such a infinite supply of them.
Yeah, I mean, and last year, as far as flipping wonders go, he had a nice season, and he was able to sustain that pre-debut hype. But now he's going into he's going into the next year now. I personally want to see him continue to perform before
Yeah,
I start getting involved, because there'll be opportunities where they jump again if he starts getting hot.
yeah,
But
absolutely.
I personally want to see more.
Yep.
I want to see another couple years from now. He gets a little older into his physical prime. Is he going to hit the home run? Or
Yeah.
is it gonna be that, 290, 300, and he hits 18 home runs, steals 30 bases? I don't know over the course of a career how much drive initially or during the first 5, 7 years of his career you're gonna be flipping crazy wanders,
Yep. It's very true.
unless he's mashing.
Very, very true, which is also why we've said don't invest heavily in rookies and look at veterans just because, in 3 years from now he could be garbage. So, I mean, obviously you want to buy young guys, but you got to get it at a decent price. And being first in this hobby, in this business does not usually does not reward you in the end.
You think that guy's got it on like a shelf in a display case?
Hopefully it's one of
The
those
2K ones?
rotating ones with those flashing lights and stuff. I mean, you're gonna spend 2 grand on that. You gotta
I
have
wonder
like,
if it got paid for,
oh, that's true.
since that's apparently an epidemic right now.
That is a crazy epidemic right now.
Yeah, we just had another dope make an offer that I accepted. Like, they made the offer. I didn't make the offer. I didn't counter it. They made the offer. I accepted it. Doesn't pay.
Didn't pay.
It's been a week.
Yeah, and the suggestion that I made was people just throwing out offers and then checking comps and then realizing that they offer. I mean, because the offer was over comp, and we were
A
ecstatic
hundred
about.
percent.
We were ecstatic about it. It's like, yes, take it, and it's all yours. And then more than likely, I think we have the card priced at 750. The comp on it is probably closer to 350, and the dude offered 400. We accepted, obviously, and he just reneged. So it is what it is, and eBay isn't doing anything about it. So it's
Nope.
it's
Like I
it's
said last week, they don't care.
it's the big negative. All right, so segueing once again, that's the theme for today, is the segue. Once again into the PSA $50 level and what our experience has been with it over the last couple of weeks. Um, I'll let you walk us through, but for those of you that don't know, PSA announced their quote unquote economy level at $50, but there is a catch. It's a queue system. You can't submit anything you want. You have to sign up for their $99 membership club. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, so you have to sign up for their $99 membership club. It's $99 now. I think they're gonna have other levels at some point.
Gold or
Um,
platinum, I think.
yeah, so that's coming in the future. And then you have to get into a queue system, which basically is like a lottery, which they run on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Yeah, I mean, they make it pretty simple. It's somewhere in the 11 o'clock hour. You get the email saying, "Hey, join the room." And you can hop in the room. I think I usually get in around 11:30, and I just let it tick down, whether it's on desktop or my cell phone, and it just ticks down. And once it gets to zero, it gives you a random number, and then you just see the numbers ticking down. And depending on how many allocations they're giving out that day, or people have turned off their browser, and you move up quicker in the line. Uh, so far we're 1 for 5 in the 5 times I tried to get in. We got it. We got in one. It automatically put five $50 allocations right in our account. So it was as simple as that. But
And have we submitted and mailed those already?
yeah, they're received. They got delivered on Tuesday, and they got uploaded to the account today. So they are in step one. We'll see
Okay.
how long it goes from there. Yeah,
Yeah.
step one on February 24th.
Okay.
So
So yeah,
we'll see what the turnaround is.
yeah, we'll keep everybody updated. But yeah, as you said, we are 1 for 5. But PSA made an announcement today that they're upping their allocation on economy from 5 spots to 50 spots. We're not sure how this is all going to work. So, we have to get into the next one to find out how it exactly works, whether or not you have 50 spots to use for the next, 3 months, or, if you use them in a week, or, we have to figure that out. But
So on the 5 allocation, it says on the in your account on the website, you had 15 days to submit using those 5 or they expire.
yeah.
So, I don't know with the 50 now. I have to imagine they're going to pop up and ask you how many you want, but who's going to say they don't want 50? If they use them, they use them. So I don't know if there's less people getting in now because more people at the 50 are just taking the 50, and they'd rather. I mean, I would imagine they'd rather just have big group subs, right, at the economy level.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they do, but at the same time, if they were taking a certain amount of slots, I mean, that cuts it down by, by tenfold. So if they were taking 50,000 spots, at 5 cards a piece, now they're only taking, 5,000. So it definitely will make it, if that's the case, it's going to make it a lot harder to get in for people like us who are maybe only going to submit 5 to 10 cards at a time versus some of these group guys or guys that have,
You've already thrown out 50 wanders.
yeah, that are throwing 50 wanders in. So we'll see. We'll keep everybody updated. But that also brings up the point that PSA made the announcement that they just signed into a new facility on the East Coast. It's in Jersey City. It's a 130,000 square foot facility, which is crazy. So their plan is to expand out. So, if you're on the Eastern Seaboard, you can now ship to, not now, but when it opens, you'll be able to ship to Jersey City instead of California. So that hopefully will reduce shipping time, shipping cost, back and forth, especially.
It absolutely will.
Yeah. I mean, for us, it's awesome. Bunk ships everything for us out of Pennsylvania. So shipping to New Jersey will be a lot cheaper and faster than it is to send to California.
Yeah, I mean it goes by zone. So even first class mail, your bubble mail or single card you're mailing, just goes by zones right across the country. And obviously California is the furthest zone, 5 or 6 or whatever it is, according to USPS. So now we'll be in the same zone as Jersey City and should save a few bucks every time.
Dude, I'm
I
I'm
can even
I'm
drive
laughing
them over
here.
there from work.
I'm laughing here because Bunk is now a fucking U.S. Postal Service expert. I mean, you literally are
I live there.
you are the norm of the USPS where you live in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, they love me over there.
You're going to be an alternate, what's it called, a reserve postal agent. So just in case anything ever happens, you can step up and you deliver the
I would
mail.
I
And
would totally become a mail carrier right now.
dude,
I would literally just
that'd
start
be
doing it.
so awesome.
I think so. I could use the wall. I could use a few extra steps in my day. That's for sure.
There you go, guy. Sign up. Um, all right, so that's our PSA $50 level experience. We were supposed to cover it last week. We didn't get to it, so now we have 5 cards out the door at the $50 level, and we're gonna keep trying to get in on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And now with this 50 spot allocation, we'll see what comes up, and we'll see how long, and we'll report back and give everybody an update, and we'll also give everybody an update on how long it takes. The $100 level was turned around in the same time as the $150 level, so we'll see if the $50 level is anywhere close in regards to turnaround time. Alrighty. So that brings us to the next. We have no segue for the next segment. Unfortunately, couldn't weave it in there. We're going to be talking about the Hits app. There's 2 things to talk about with this. Number one, we'll talk about what it is. The Hits app is basically an app that gathers all the big hits from various breakers and shows them to you, and just I can't think of the word. Why can't I think of the word? Congregates is not the right word here.
I have no idea where you're going.
I'm
So
trying to taking a whole bunch of things and putting them all in the same place. And I don't know why my brain is blanking. But anyway, they gather all the hits, quote unquote, and put them all in an app so you can watch the big hits and not have to like surf around to a bunch of social media channels and YouTube and blah, blah, blah. So, from our standpoint, who gives a shit? But the reason why we're talking about this is they decided that they were going to do their own NFT thing and sell one of ones of these hit pulls on OpenSea. And that lasted for all of 2 weeks ish, 2 to 3 weeks. And then yesterday, I believe, or this morning, or whatever it was, they made an announcement that they're now shutting that down because, surprise, surprise, it wasn't as successful
this was the
as,
sports card investor thing.
yeah.
Oh, they did the hit tap.
They were sponsors of it or involved with it or something because
Yikes.
they've been pushing it hard on their
So did,
videos
so
and
did I
whatever.
read they were buying them all back? Is that what I saw?
I think so. I believe that that was the release that they put out. That I don't think they sold that many. To be honest with you, there's only
Well, who
16
wants
owners.
that?
Yeah, nobody wants them. There's no utility to them. There's no long term value. It's a money grab. Just like they saw NFT possibility and they're like, "Fuck it, let's put these out as one of ones and try to sucker people into buying them." And they were selling them for 0.08 ETH, which is like $250. And you know
So I can look at somebody else, not even the person who owns the card now, if it was a break or something like that. I can watch somebody else pull it, and I don't own it. And it's
Yeah.
just the moment it came out of the pack.
So if Leighton, for example, pulls some massive card and they video it and then they sell that to you as an NFT that you give them $250 for, and you own the video of them pulling the card. That's it. You don't own the card. You don't have any interest in the card. You have nothing to do with the card other than the fact that you own the video of it being pulled.
Okay.
And some of these
And I've
video.
come around on NFTs lately, but that's just absurd.
Yeah, well, I mean, some of these, it's like, when Leighton pulled the $4 million Luca card, maybe. But some of the shit that's up there, I mean, the cards are like $500 cards, $1,000 cards that nobody's gonna give a shit about in 3 weeks from now. Never mind an NFT. They're not gonna care about the card. Never mind an NFT of somebody pulling the card.
Was the gold T-Law Kaboom up there?
Uh-huh. I did not happen to see it, but I didn't dig very
$1
far.
million.
So either way, they decided to shut it down, and because as I said, surprise, surprise, it wasn't as successful as they thought it was going to be, and it leads me to a bigger point. There's NFTs everywhere. I mean, literally anybody and everybody is trying to get their hands on cash from NFTs, and it's including the sports card world. This was brought to you by Sports Card Investor, and they were heavily involved, and they were cranking the shit out of the app, and they're still trying to push the app and drive views and whatever else to it. But there's going to be money grabs for NFTs everywhere. So you got to do your homework. You got to take a look at stuff and just think about whether or not this is going to have any value in a month from now, in a year from now. Is anybody going to care about buying this? And if you want it for your own collection and you want it because it's something cool for you, go right ahead. Spend your money on whatever you want. But if you're buying it for long term value, you got to do a little bit of homework and use a little bit of logic.
See, that's interesting. Had this come out 15 years ago and someone pulled a massive Adam Dunn card, I might consider putting that pull in my collection as an oddball item. I didn't think of it that way.
Yeah. I mean,
But again, the number of idiots that would do that, including myself, if it was somebody I collect heavily, I can't be enough to make this any kind of sustainable thing.
I'm gonna see if they're still. I'm gonna see if they pulled them all down, or see if we can look at some of the examples.
And you would know better than me. How is this lucrative for them? Is views in an app somehow lucrative?
Yeah, users. Yeah, because then they can run ads and get they run ads in the app,
Oh, okay.
et cetera, et cetera. Let's see. It's Let's see if they pull their OpenSea link down. No, I still got it up. Let's see if there's anything left. Yeah, so there's 200 items up. There's only 16 owners. Um,
So a handful of those people have multiples.
yeah, so like for example, one of the cards is a Debo Samuel NFL shield from Obsidian. Like, anybody gonna care about that? A 2020, 2021 Prism Vince Carter gold out of 10. Like,
Yeah, just stop.
yeah,
I mean, it's stupid.
yeah. So either way, the point is here, this type of stuff is out there. There's a post actually on Instagram right now that Card Porn put up that that I really it put it up today, and I think it really holds true to what's going on. And I'll read it real quick just because it's it's good to take a look at and to keep in mind. Hobby is currently at fever pitch, and individuals and companies will do anything and everything to get some of your hard earned dollars. Large selling platforms like Whatnot and Twitch, and in this case, the Hits app, only care about their bottom line and therefore turn a blind eye to all sorts of bad selling practices and behavior. Buyer beware. Hobby related buying scams are at an all time high, and places like eBay are flooded with them as those platforms heavily favor the buyer in the event of a dispute. Seller beware. If it's too good to be true, it almost always is. So
Yeah, well said.
yeah, very, very much well said. I mean, Card Porn has said that their scam DMs are at like all time highs as far as people reporting scammers. So it's out there. NFTs just add another layer to it because people are so not familiar with what NFTs are all about. Um, so get educated on this stuff if you're going to be buying in, because everybody expects nothing but the best from sports card investor, and this was just a complete sham with this whole thing. Anything else you'd like to say on the NFT space?
No, I got nothing productive to add to this conversation.
I will say you have been a little bit more receptive to NFTs and not old man technology. You've been trying to embrace the young kids and the NFTs and the crypto. So
Well, I'm trying to learn about it.
yeah, guy.
I mean, more than anything, I want to understand what's going on.
Yeah,
A to,
absolutely.
A to protect myself, and B if it's something I want to get involved with. I'm just not going in blind and buying Vince Carter polls videos.
Yep. I didn't actually see if there was any Adam Duns on there for you.
There won't be. They're probably. Did they like go back in time and make? I mean, it's got to be all recent polls, no?
Yeah, I mean it looks like it.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, there's a Wayne Gretzky in here, but I'm sure it's a recent poll.
yeah.
It's not a 1979 Wayne Gretzky. It's a Leaf Wayne
I'm
Gretzky patch.
certainly not spending any Ethereum on I said I would, but I highly doubt I would.
Yeah, I'm very impressed that you set up a MetaMask wallet and put Ethereum in it all by yourself.
I had help and a lot of hand holding.
All right, moving right along. So time to update the baseball situation. Give everybody an update on what's going on and what you feel. If there is any kind of delay on the season, how that's going to affect hobby prices for baseball.
It's not. I mean, unless you're telling me opening day is not until July or something like that, I don't think it matters. We're all sheep. We can all say we're not going to spend our money on baseball, and you hate baseball, and you're not going to watch baseball. But you don't watch baseball anyway, guy.
I raise my hands for all of those.
Yeah, if you're a diehard fan of the game and a collector of baseball cards, the second game start again, all's forgotten. You can pretend to be mad all you want, and I get it. You have every right to be because no one loses here more than the fans do. But we're all sheep. We'll go right back to it. So I don't expect any really change in hobby prices. If anything, it's going to be people, just dying to start buying and seeing where cards go with the season starting,
Yeah, you're already starting to
and
see
how.
it. You're starting to see a little bit of a pump in the baseball market. It's been happening. There's been a slow build over the last couple weeks.
e- e-
Prices are going up a little bit.
Even my upcoming couch cushion investment segment that got pushed from last week to this week, there's already a bump of a few bucks on those cards. So yeah, it's slowly climbing, but people are still cautiously optimistic, and then they're holding out. So personally, I got some stuff that if it was spring training and pitchers and catchers were already there, I'd already started considering putting it up or throwing it up on eBay already. But I'm holding until the season starts because just have more eyeballs and more bids when people see baseball.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we have a ton of baseball stuff that we've been sitting on for a bit. So, as soon as we can get some pitchers and catchers out there,
Yeah, but they said the deadline's Monday. If they don't have a deal in place by Monday, every day that goes by, they're threatening to cancel a day. And the owners also threatened to you're not going to get paid for any missed game. So
yeah,
as soon as that news broke earlier in the week, I think at today's meeting there were three times as many players that showed up at the meeting today after that news broke. So maybe they'll get somewhere.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, so definitely keep an eye on Monday. See, what potentially could happen if it drags on, or if it gets resolved quickly. There'll probably be a bump as well, just because people are excited about it and want to start buying and selling. So Monday will be a big day. We'll talk more about it next week. Hopefully, there's some sort of resolution and we can get this train rolling. I know there's nobody more excited about baseball season than you.
Yeah, I think the biggest hobby impacts come from the fact that a lot of these teams, their rosters aren't set yet. They have free agents to sign and moves to make, and who knows what kind of moves they're going to be forced to do or not do because of the time crunch involved. So maybe this opens the door, and you get some guys coming up that maybe weren't going to get their start this year, or that sort of thing. And you hear about more names, but the biggest thing going on right now is all the articles will be coming out about guys expected to make their 2022 Major League debut, who might make the team and head north after spring training, and then that just keeps building the hype of all these younger guys. And you don't have that right now because we don't know we can't predict lineups yet because some of these teams are missing three guys
Well, I mean,
that
but
they.
there's been ridiculous prices on some of these early baseball products. Some of these prices on some of these guys are going for just huge money.
Who have you seen other than Wander?
I mean, nobody that's quote unquote rookie, but guys that are minor league guys right now, like Marcelo, what's his face on
Oh yeah, the
Boston,
prospects,
and
Mayor, yeah,
those
the
guys. I mean,
Red
there's
Sox guy.
5 or 6 of those guys whose cards are selling for close to four figures. I mean, they're selling 750
Oh,
and
he's out. Yeah, he's
yeah,
selling out of his gourd.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's the stuff too that people need to pay attention to, because if he's not going to be on the roster or whatever
He's
else,
not. He's
yeah.
gonna be in the minors all year.
Yeah, so I mean, once some of this stuff fires up, that market's going to deflate and then shift over into major league guys. So definitely stuff to keep an eye on, timing wise, when you're buying some of these prospects versus actual guys that are going to be rookies and on the big club.
But definitely, it's been some more buying, and I usually judge my buying not from eBay, but I have a pretty decent COMC account, which we can cover for people one day if they're not familiar with that space. But the prospects that I've bought to flip on there are starting to fly. People are starting to pull the trigger on my list price on those, and they're starting to move. So hopefully we get baseball here soon, and then they'll really start moving.
Yeah, absolutely. Alrighty. Once again, a tease and a segue from Bunk. The Bunk's couch cushion investment making its Sports Card Advantage podcast debut. And why don't you tell some folks what the couch cushion investment segment is all about?
Yeah, and I'll go into explaining why because I think I've mentioned on previous shows how I like to buy a lot of cards, sell 80% of them, and get my money back, and then I have free cards. I love doing that. So one of the things I was looking at was the always underpriced Bo Bichette is his Topps flagship rookie card. PSA nines can currently be had for like $10. Um, even though there's an 11K something pop on them, they're $10. And once we get into season, he starts raking again. They're going to be more than $10. So this is an excellent opportunity where if if you can get 10 of those for like $80 shipped or something like that, and then you can flip 5 or 6 of them, make your money back even with the taxing and shipping, and then you got a couple in hand, even if it's only one in hand, and you got it for free. Now you got yourself, you add it to your collection and didn't cost you anything. But I had to do a little work to get there. No big deal. But even if you're like you scoff at nines and you need that PSA 10, those are like 25 to $30. Huge pop, but it's $25 $30 PSA 10 of a pretty big rookie card. It's going to be higher in the season. You're going to still make a few bucks.
Yeah, I mean, Bichette obviously was a beast last year, and people just continue. People expect him to continue to get better.
Yeah, I think he quietly led the league in hits. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, his stats were crazy last year.
So yeah, and then another card in case people are interested. I looked at it because my love for Bowman's Best. I looked at his Bowman's Best Refractor, which ironically enough, I can't find a pop report on PSA of that set at all, the whole set. But his PSA 9 refractors rookie cards are 15 to $20, and his 10s are in the now they've pumped up a few bucks. Last week they were 60. Now they're upwards of 75. So the refractor or better Bichettes are definitely starting to move. So if you're getting in on Bichette, I would do it now.
Yeah, so he had a 298 batting average, 29 home runs, 102 RBIs, 25 stolen bases, 191 hits.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that should be in bold, right? That
Yes,
191.
it is
Yeah,
in
yeah, yeah.
bold.
He led the league in hits. Yeah.
Yeah. So
What
he
was it,
was
23 last year?
what'd you say?
He was 23.
Where is this? Yes, 23 years old, March 5th, 1998. So his 24th birthday will be in a couple
Next
weeks.
week. Right. Great. Yeah, led the league in hits as a 23-year-old. Not
Yeah.
too shabby.
Yeah, I mean, but he seems to be 5 tool player, as in, he's going to hit. He could be 30-30 club in this year, and that's definitely not done very often these days.
Nope.
You
Nope.
know,
Yeah, no, you gotta love him. You gotta love him. And I don't know if it's just he's overshadowed by Vlad.
yeah, I mean,
That those numbers are
in
good enough
Toronto.
that nah, but still, like those, yeah, I guess, but his numbers are good enough that I hate to say he was overshadowed by some. I mean, Vlad had a great season. Don't get me wrong, but it's not like shit's right up there.
Well, I mean, that's an interesting question to ask. Are there two guys on the same team who have strong hobby? The only one that pops into my head right away is
Trout and
Otani, and
Ohtani.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. But I mean, Trout been there and done that for however many years, and Otani is a freaking unicorn. But other than that, I mean, in any sport, can you name me two guys on the same team that have strong hobby, presence?
Put me on the spot, but I'm sure if I went down rosters, I could come up with them. But
Well,
yeah,
we'll
I
we'll,
know to your point. Yeah, it makes
we'll
sense.
throw that in there as a poll, not a poll, but comment on our Twitter post for the podcast or Instagram. Follow us, comment SportsCard ADVTG. Send us an email, info@sportscardadvantage.com. Let us know if is it out there that two guys on the same team have a strong hobby, value.
I mean, if Gleyber Torres didn't shit the bed last year, him and Judge would be up there pretty good. Judge prices are still crazy to me, considering his age and his career stats. But not taking anything away from him as the player, but
Yeah.
he's 30 years old, and if you look at his career stats and compare him to other 30-year-olds, they are not close.
Well, he's
Not there.
he's a Yankee, New York market.
Yeah, and he's gonna sell for a while until he's 36 and on the downside of his career, and he has 300 career home runs. And you're like, huh, is he that good? So
Yeah. Well, I mean, they'll make up some statistic like WAR and call him good. I mean, that's
yeah, well, and that's the thing. I mean, listen, are we gonna miss more games this year because you already got the strikes shortened, not the strikes shortened, the COVID shortened season. You guys missing games last year. Like you have this, you're gonna have this little error here. If we say this doesn't start for 2 months, where people are missing out on prime years and they're just not accumulating stats.
yeah.
And then at the end, are we going to look at baseball differently because of the era, and we're going to bring our totals down on what we consider awesome milestone achievements?
Well,
Is 2,500 hits going to become the new norm because no one's going to get there?
Well, I mean, that was the argument that some of the people are making, not to jump sports, but I mean, that was the argument that somebody was making with Stafford. I mean, Stafford never led the league in anything, but he just accumulated stats over a certain period of time.
in the
So,
second half.
yeah, I mean, is it? No, I'm talking about for his career as
No,
far
I know.
as, yeah. So it's like if you just accumulated stats on bad teams or you played in a different era, should the bar be lowered? But you also look at guys that are in the Hall of Fame from 75 years ago, and their numbers, some in certain cases their numbers aren't
Yeah, I
fantastic
mean,
either.
Pirate fans are gonna kill me, but Bill Mazeroski's career numbers are garbage. He's in the Hall of Fame. He hit a pretty big home run, but yeah, there's a lot of guys like that.
I don't know if we have any.
Who at the time of getting in, was considered X, Y, and Z, and we're going to see a big shift in Hall of Fame voting anyway, because now we're getting to the point where some of these sports writers are they're going to be not having their vote anymore for
Did
various reasons. I don't want to get into, but so now you're going to have all these young and upcomer beat writers and people that are going to be given the ability to vote on these things. So a lot can change.
podcasters? Let's get ourselves a vote.
No, I'm mad they let fans vote for the All-Star game. We don't need votes.
God, I was talking about us. We have a sports related podcast. Let's get ourselves a vote.
Yeah, we're not getting into the Baseball Writers Association. I'm sorry.
Man can dream. All right, you got anything else for baseball investments?
No, sir.
All right, fantastic. I'm going to walk through a quick basketball investment, and then we will wrap up for this week. I'm actually going to recycle somebody that we've had on this podcast before, and
Hero again
for a reason, yes, and another one. Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray is a Denver Nugget. He's been hurt for a while. He's supposed to come back in a couple of weeks. His cards have settled into a nice bottom. Denver is going to compete. They're in fifth place in the West right now without Jamal Murray, without Michael Porter Jr. Both of those guys are supposed to be back for the playoff run. And if they are and they're healthy and playing well, Denver has as good a shot as any. Obviously, Golden State is really strong. Phoenix is really strong. The West is going to be an absolute brawl. But at the same time, if the Nuggets got their game together and can win a round or two. You have to imagine with him coming back, being back on the court, and if he plays well, you could see a 2 to 3x bump in his card value. I'm looking at his 2016 Prism base PSA 10 last sale was $130. The pop on this is $753. This card, as of last March, was at $450 to $500. So there's definite possibilities, even though it's base. There's still a low pop on it. The card that we've covered in the past that we do actually own is the silver PSA 9. We were able to snag a copy of this. Last sold for $180. It's a pop 104. So also some really big potential. This card sold as high as $500 to $600, and it all just comes down to how it plays when he comes back. Denver could find themselves, with a nice boost with getting those two guys back. They're two starters for them, so there's definitely some possibilities there. We're going to be looking at some stuff in the next month as we get into basketball playoffs. I think the East is wide open, so we may look at some opportunities there as well. And West, as I said, is going to be an absolute war in the playoffs. There's a ton of good teams in the West this year. And that's it for this week's investments. Bunk, anything else you'd like to add on the great sport of basketball?
No, but I've been listening to Brooklyn Nets sports radio talk like crazy. So maybe we should look at Ben Simmons.
We talked about Ben Simmons a couple weeks ago. You were here for that.
Oh, I think I slept through it.
Oh, thanks, Kai. Really appreciate that you're awake over there as I'm running through basketball investments. All right. Well, that'll put a bow on us for this week. Today more than ever. We hope that you guys stay safe, and we know that some rocky times out there, and it's sports cars are just a hobby. So we wish everybody best of luck. With their day to day lives and what's really important. So hopefully everybody stays safe, stays economically strong, and
Buy
hope,
gas, not cars.
buy gas not cards, hashtag buy gas not cards. So yeah, we hope everybody is good through this rocky time, and hopefully it's over sooner than later, and we can get back to just enjoying cards and not having to worry about any of this other stuff. So for that, we are out on episode 48, and we will see you next week.